call me doing thumbnails. Oh God, I hate doing thumbnails. Hello beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Don't forget you can subscribe easily to become part of the butterfly family. And today we're going to be talking about how to build a Hecate practice from scratch. It's going to be very beginner and low spoons friendly, so grab that cup of tea, let's get to it. The first thing I want to say is, if you felt drawn to Hecate and you didn't know where to begin, same. I was exactly the same, like what do I do? If you don't have a lot of energy like me, if you're struggling, you want a meaningful connection to Hecate, you can definitely find that. So today I'm going to show you a gentle way to start your practice with Hecate. Ooh, that rhymed. Yay! I don't want anyone to feel like your practice has to be elaborate and big. I know we read about ancient practices, about them ceremonially bathing and having these huge rituals that they did in temples, and if you're able to do that sort of a practice, that's great. Obviously that sort of practice is not beginner friendly, and I think for many of us it's something that feels so out of reach. It might be something we can do one day or try once or on special occasions, but it's not something that is really very easy to do. And so today I really want to talk about how intention is so much more important than aesthetics, and consistency is more important than how intense or big your ritual is. I have a very low spoon way of practicing my witchcraft practice, and my relationship with Hecate has been built from a very small little steps. I've been very nervous and scared of connecting with Hecate because I knew what that would mean for my practice. However, I could feel that she wanted to work with me. I had several people tell me that they felt she wanted to work with me. I definitely have not jumped full into working with Hecate until the beginning of this year, where I made the decision to just work with Hecate and to venerate the other gods that I had been working with, who's Archangel Michael and Diana. I instead wanted to just concentrate my time and my energy on Hecate, and that was a very difficult decision to make. But it's also something that came like maybe a year, 2 years after I first started working with and venerating Hecate. It doesn't have to all be all or nothing. And I don't want any of you to feel like you have to do these full-blown big things. It can start in a very small, very accessible way. The first way that is so easy is to set up an altar. Now this can be in a little tin box. This could be on a windowsill. This could be a battery-operated candle with some honey in a dish and a key. That's it. You don't need these beautiful expensive statues. You can thrift so many things that you can then give to Hecate, and building a space on an altar that is beautiful and something that is aesthetic can be built up over time. I think too often we feel like we've got to rush out and buy all the things and order everything online and get it all here straight away, but you don't have to do that. It can be very, very small. It can be inconspicuous. It can be online. You can make an altar on your phone or on a Pinterest board. I have an altar to her on my Pinterest. It doesn't have to be this aesthetic, beautiful space that we see a lot on social media. At least it doesn't even have to be that to begin with. It can be as simple as an offering bowl, a key or a picture that you've drawn of a key, and a candle, and that's it. And that is more than enough for Hecate, because it's the intention behind things that translate to gods and goddesses and spirits, because they're not in this dimension, they're not in this world that we live in, and so they don't understand, I don't believe, they understand the physical things that we try and offer them. all they understand is your heart behind those things. And so if all you have is something that you've made, a picture that you've drawn and a candle, that is more than enough. It's the intention behind it. So definitely let go of those aesthetics, because I do think, and this is just my own personal thoughts, but I think these beautiful aesthetic spells that we see sometimes on social media, I don't always believe that they are actual practicing witches. It's just all a bit too perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm doing my witchcraft, there's stuff everywhere. There's spell ingredients that I've dropped on the floor and tarot cards everywhere, and it's just all a bit messy and it doesn't fit in. Are they actual witches? Is this just like role playing or LARPing as witches? I don't know. It's just a thought that I had, but it's helped me to let go of those assumptions that I have to look like those beautiful practices. My altar can be what it is, and everything on my altar is thrifted or stuff that I've bought from people on like Etsy and stuff like that, or it's things I've made myself. So it doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to all be done now. Like I've been working with Hecate for like 2 years. I've just found a statue for her. It's a beautiful statue. I'll put a picture up, but I found it in a charity shop for like £2 or something, and it's just perfect for what I needed and for what I wanted. It's perfect. And so I want you to let go of these you have to spend lots of money, because you don't. Offerings that we give to our gods, goddesses, spirits, etc., and to Hecate, they don't have to be elaborate. They can be very simple. In ye olden ancient times, people would basically make an extra meal for their dinner. So they would make an extra meal for her, and then they would leave it at a crossroads. This is something that can be done here now. Of course, now we understand more about what animals can eat and what is safe for dogs and things. So if you're gonna do it that way, definitely make sure the things that you're leaving out are safe. But offerings can be water. That's what I always give. You can give tea or coffee, honey, garlic. You could make something using ingredients that she likes, or if you in the supermarket and you see, I don't know, like a garlic bun, you can be like, I'm gonna get that for Hecate. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. And low spoon options are things like yesterday, as an offering, I gave my nap. I needed to sleep. I slept for 3 hours, and as I was falling asleep, I just simply thought to myself, Hecate, I dedicate this nap to you because I am not feeling well and I want to take this time with you. And it was moments later I fell asleep. I was struggling to get comfortable and fall asleep, and then when I said those words, I just immediately relaxed and fell asleep, and I had a lovely, lovely rest. You could write a poem for her. You could read to her. I read from the Hecate book by Nikita Gill. It's a beautiful book. I absolutely love it, and I read that to her every day. Just lighting a candle, or just spending some time in prayer, or meditating, listening to podcasts, reading a book about her. All these things are offerings. Your time, your energy, your words can be given just as much as something that costs a lot of money. Instead, taking time to really give your heart to reading a poem or writing an affirmation, or I don't know, thrifting a box that you want to keep her offerings in and painting it and making it look beautiful. You don't need to be formal. You don't need to put a lot of time and effort and energy into things when you're not feeling well. It can be as simple as listening to a podcast and colouring in. I did find a Hecate colouring book. I'll leave a link to that down below, but I love listening to a podcast episode or one of my favourite YouTubers. I love to listen to them and do some colouring in. that is great on a day where I'm not feeling well, and it really does make me feel connected to her, and I'm learning as I go. Another thing is writing in a notebook or a grimoire dedicated to her. I love doing this. I have a little book that I bought, and as I'm learning, as I'm looking things up, I'm writing it in her book. So everything's collated together, which is great for me as somebody who has memory issues. I really struggle to learn new things, and it just feels really lovely to spend some time in offering to her. So the next thing is starting communication, and I'll be honest, sometimes you can feel like you're just talking to yourself, or you're just talking to nothing. It can feel very uncomfortable at first, but speaking out loud, speaking in your head, journaling, writing letters, communicating through tarot or divination that you enjoy, like pendulums and things like that. No pressure. That's what it should be. It should be no pressure, and not waiting for that immediate response. Me and my husband quite often go and see a psychic, and she's amazing, and I often ask her questions and she always answers me. And I remember saying to her, like, I'll sometimes ask a question but then I don't get an answer, and she said, maybe you're not understanding the answer or the way they answer, but in spirit they answer with a TV show that makes you think about something, or an advert that comes on that makes you think of a book that you want to order, or maybe a memory pops into your head, or you see signs and symbols everywhere, a particular number keeps popping up. They speak to us in a different way to how we speak to them, and a different way to how we speak to each other. And so remembering that and being open to all the different ways that gods can speak to us is the best way. It's better to take the pressure off, not expect anything, and just be open and mindful, and just be there waiting for them to respond to us, because that's how we get the message. Because quite often I feel like they're talking back to us, but we can't hear them, and so they're shouting and flashing things at us, but we're not paying attention. So just paying attention and building that connection over time. Know that when say for example you meet me for the first time, and you know me because of my videos, but I don't know you, so I might be a bit standoffish at first, or I might be a bit nervous and not quite myself because I've not met you before. And then over time, through texting or sending each other memes or talking to one another, that's how you build up that friendship. And then before you know it, you're at a place where you're video chatting or you're meeting up in person. I've had a few friendships build up in that way through being a YouTuber, and that is how I've come to understand for myself how it works, because it's so easy to feel like, oh, you should be talking to me, but we almost have to give it time to warm up, give it time to get going. After a few years of communicating with a god or a goddess, you will find that you will start getting dreams or more messages come through, or you start to notice things easier because you've been studying about that god and goddess. And because you know them better, you then know how they explain things and how they show things to you. There are many different ways that you can notice when Hecate is around. Intuitively feeling them close. I've had times where in my head I've felt like there's hands on my shoulder, like in a reassuring way, like, oh, you can do this, or this feeling of confidence will suddenly come over me, this feeling of I can do this. There's also repeating symbols, and maybe people just start talking about something, a TV show suddenly brings up something. You start seeing her symbols around in your everyday life. Those are all letting you know that she's around, but do remember that not everything is a sign. Sometimes we can see more in the little everyday things than it's not always a sign. It's not always from them. It can be us looking too deeply in it because we really want to get that sign, you know. So I think it's important to always talk to other practitioners if you've got friends or if you're online. There are plenty of places to talk about where you're connecting with Hecate, and that can really bring you to understanding more what is actually a symbol and what is us being just too excited and really wanting that connection. I think we have to trust in our own intuition. We have to trust in our own experiences, and learning about that god or goddess will help us to really understand where we are and what's happening for real, and really understanding everything that's going on so much better. Routine is one of the biggest ways that we can grow our relationship with a god or a goddess. With Hecate, it's all about giving your time, and she really seems to appreciate the effort and the time that you put in. For my own experience, even if I'm only able to go in my room for like 5 minutes in the evening, light the candles and just say, I couldn't be here today, but I wanted to check in. It can be something simple like a meditation. It can be as simple as a quick prayer over a candle that's dedicated to her, which can also be a candle that is battery operated. That's what I use. It's so much easier as a disabled person to use a battery operated candle. You can offer something small like a picture that you've made, or some honey or some garlic, and just sitting for a bit and just being present is so powerful. Even if you're not able to get to your altar, like yesterday I couldn't get in my altar room, I was really not feeling well, and so it's okay to be like, I'm dedicating this nap to you. It's okay to be like, I'm just going to put on my noise cancelling headphones and listen to a podcast and doze or colour in. It's all about the small little showing up that we do every day that can make all the difference in showing her that we are interested in being with her and working with her. A gentle, simple 5-10 minute routine is better than trying to do a big elaborate thing once a month. It's all about how much you can show up for your god and goddess. And I think for me personally, it's meant so much more to do little small things that is actually possible for me as somebody who's disabled and doesn't have a lot of energy. But if you've got a lot of energy, when you come home from work or school, maybe you do want to do a big elaborate thing for her once a month, but then show up every day for a little everyday kind of practice. It's good to find balance, to listen to your body, listen to your mental health, and be there when you can and where you can. That is what is going to build you a really lovely practice with this incredible goddess. I want to reassure you that when you're starting a practice, when you're starting something new, it's not going to be perfect. And it doesn't have to be. Nobody's asking us to be perfect. I think it's pressure that society puts on us and we put on ourselves. But it's all about just remembering that no matter what our practice is, it's valid. You are valid. When you are starting out, it's perfectly fine just how it is. Even if you've just got a candle and that's all you've got, that's all you can afford. A cheap candle from a pound shop, or what do you call it, Dollar Tree in America, I think it is. But if that's all you've got, then that's more than enough. If all you can do is draw a picture of a key, or draw a picture of a candle, or make a little picture on your phone to look at it for a bit every day, it's more than enough. It's all about building up your practice over time. Too often in this world we feel like it's got to be everything now. I've got to go and spend lots of money and get my house looking amazing and have the most incredible everything. That's social media thinking, and it's not reality. Our reality is very different to the 1 or 2 minute videos that we see on Instagram or on YouTube. My practice doesn't look like that, and I try to always be authentic here on the channel. So I hope that you see that you can have an incredible relationship with Hecate without spending all your money and all your energy and all your time. They want us to live our best lives and to be happy and to be well. They don't want us struggling, and it's not about that. It's about being authentic and showing up. I really hope that this video has helped you in some way, and that you can start to build an incredible practice. I really hope that if you enjoyed this video, you will leave it a cheeky like, comment and subscribe. All these things are free. They help me to know and the YouTubiverse to know that you enjoyed the video, and it'll share it out just that little bit more. Take care everyone. Have a wonderful magical week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.